Welcome all joining us via Zoom and Facebook. Thank you for being with us today. I'm Madhu, the head of residential life and teacher of biology. I'm an Indian from the UK, where I worked in a number of schools and also spent part of my teaching career in Africa. I have been at UWCD since 2016. Today, I'm here with the residential team whose main priority is to safeguard the student community. During the last 18 months, as we have been tackling the pandemic, safeguarding has acquired a new meaning for all of us. However, that has just been an additional layer we all had to cope with. The residential team is dedicated to caring for our students, and we are delighted that today you are able to meet those who are fulfilling the parental roles on your behalf. Other than me, the team comprises the deputy head of residential life and the 6 Toon parents or house parents, the school psychologist, and the senior doctor. Soon, the Toon parents will introduce themselves. Together, we are trying to make sure that our team works in unison and we are consistent about the expectations from our students and the standard of care and support they receive. To be successful in our mission, we rely on the cooperation and support of all the students and you, the parents. That's why it is our pleasure to talk to you today. The format is as follows. My colleagues each would focus on separate aspects of the residential life and Toon parenting, and we will have a Q&A session at the end. Please write your questions in Q&A or chat, and if you are joining via Facebook, we'll cover those questions too. Our deputy head, Sophie, is also here in case you have any questions for her. And now let me pass the microphone to Stefan, the deputy head of residential life and Toon parent of Akstef Toon. Stefan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madhu. Yes, so I will introduce myself briefly. As Madhu said, I am Stefan. I come from Denmark, where I have started a career in, I studied engineering and I spent some years in research. But as I was about to become a parent myself for the first time, I figured that I needed a career change and I took up teaching and I've never looked back. So I've taught for 5 years in an IB school in Denmark and then joined UWC in Dilijan almost 2.5 years ago. This is my 3rd year here. I'm a physics teacher when I am teaching, but today I'm here, of course, in my capacity as a Toon parent. And I'll be talking a little bit about what are the responsibilities of a Toon parent. So in short, it is to try to do almost anything a parent would do. And that, of course, varies a lot depending on which particular student we're working with. Some need a lot of care, others can almost manage everything by themselves. But generally, the role of the Toon parent is to be there, to be a support, to be a listener, to care. Sometimes it's also to give a reprimand. It's to help guide someone to make better decisions or to make the right decision. It can sometimes be mediating in conflicts when you live close together with your friends 24 hours a day. Sometimes conflicts are part of that, and part of the job of the Toon parent can be to help students manage those conflicts. As I mentioned, I'm a parent myself to 2 younger children, aged 6 and 7. So on the one hand, I feel like I have a lot of parenting experience. On the other hand, there's a difference between being a parent to 2 younger children and then being a professional parent to 36 young people, 16 to 18-year-olds mainly. Being a professional, of course, means that while we really want to care and involve ourselves, we also have to maintain a professionalism. We have to get involved, but not too deeply involved, not emotionally involved. We can be sympathetic, we can support, and we do that as much as we can, but we have to also be professional and treat all students equally. When we get to know our new students as Toon parents, we start out from a place of trusting them. We trust that young people have been sent here who are well able to take care of themselves, who are mature and who really want to be here, be an active part of our community. And luckily, that's how we meet them the vast majority of the time. As we get to know them better, of course, we learn which ones need more support, which one needs to have regular check-ins. Some of them we may need to speak to weekly or even more often than that. Others we can smile at and we can have a short informal conversation here and there, and that's more than enough. I think from the point of view of the students, the main role of the Toon parent is to be there. We are a safety in that they know there's always someone they can go to. And just knowing that is enough for many students. Because they are dedicated, hardworking, they don't necessarily need to have deep talks with us so often, but they know whenever something happens, when they are having a hard time, they can go to someone who will listen. Someone who, not just because it's their job, but also because it's their job, someone who cares. I think that if I have to describe Toon parenting in one word, it will be the word care. Of course, it looks different depending on how different people show care. We are as diverse as our students are. We are from different cultures and different backgrounds, but our main responsibility will be caring for the young people that are in our care. And with that being said, I would like to pass the microphone on to Eric. So, Eric, you're up.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am Eric, and I am originally from Sweden. I'm the Toon parent of Arpa Toon, and I'm also involved here at the college with the sports and health program. And I have worked before at the UWC in Norway, which was a very pleasant experience. And I have worked at university in Sweden and then at some international schools abroad in Asia. But I'm very happy to be here now. And I would like to second what Stefan just said and go a little bit deeper into the interactions between the students and us Toon parents. So there are some formal and some more informal ways in which we interact. So as part of the residential program, we have some certain times when we meet the students each week. So on Thursdays, we have the Toon time, where the entire Toon get together and spend time together. And that could include all different kinds of activities. And we have the room time on Sunday evenings, where the roommates come together to discuss the week and clean and get ready for the week to come. And at that time, the Toon parents go around to all rooms and meet with all students to see how they're doing. We also have a check-in each day where the students meet with a Toon parent, and that's an opportunity for us to see how they're doing. So, and we also have duties. So there is always a Toon parent on duty to call at any time. So there are some formal ways in which we interact, but of course there are a lot of informal ways in which we interact as well. So that could be just us passing the corridors, the common rooms. We meet the students every day at breakfast, lunch, dinner. Some of us meet them in class, in the academic building. And we meet some of them during when we have the CAS activities. And so just like Stefan said, we are always nearby. And the idea is to give them an opportunity to have some independence and be independent, but also we're always there in case, and we check them regularly if how they are doing. So in some cases we obviously have to follow up and meet them more regularly to see how they're doing. Sometimes it's enough with these things I talked about. So obviously we live in the same buildings as the students, so we meet here and there. So some of the interactions we have regularly with the students. And with that, I would like to pass the ball over to Armina. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Hello, I am Armine. I am house parent in Maymech Toon. Actually, house, Toon means house in Armenian. And you might see the photos of our building, which is very beautiful. And our residencies have a river in right hand and mountains are in the left hand. And for it, we decided to name our houses or toons located close to the river, houses who are in block B, which is in right hand, called by names of rivers. And houses which are located in block A, which is closer to the mountains, we called by names of mountains. So in block A, in right hand, closer to the Agastev River, we have 3 houses, 3 toons, and they are Arpa, Agastev, and Debet. Those are the names of the rivers, big rivers in Armenia. In the other block, in block A, we have Maymech, which is very close to Dilijan, and I am toon parent of that toon. And we have Lalvar, and Rangike is toon parent of Lalvar, and we have Vartenis, Azniv is toon parent of Vartenis. Actually, we have 6 toons, and yes. And about the same number of students in each toon, from 36 to 40. I think about facilities in the residencies, Hermine will tell us more. Hermine?
Hello, thank you, Armine. I want to introduce myself. My name is Hermine, which is very easy confused with Armine. But I'm Hermine, and I'm from Armenia, from Dilijan. This is my 7 years in UWC Dilijan. I joined UWC Dilijan in 2014, and I moved to residencies this year. This is my first year as a house parent. Before I worked as assistant house parent and day house parent. I moved here with my family, my husband and my son, 1 year old. I'm house parent of Debet, and I want to speak about facilities in residencies. A part of houses and rooms that we have. We use also common rooms, which each toon has their common rooms where they do their toon times, and also students use common rooms as a space where they can socialize and study. We have in each side of residencies, we have kitchens with all equipment that students are welcome to cook there, but they also responsible for the cleaning of that kitchen. So kitchens has all equipment, oven, cookers, and everything. We have in each side of residencies laundry rooms. Laundry rooms are open. We don't have specific time for laundry, but it's preferable to do laundry after classes, after classes, and before 12. Also, we have praying room. Students who are not comfortable to pray in the rooms, they are welcome to go to praying room. And we have band room. Band rooms has a supervisor, and the students who are interested in music, they can go there and play the music. This is all about facilities in residencies, and I pass microphone to my colleague Rangike.
Thank you, Armine. Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for being with us.
That's why I said it's very easy to confuse my name. I'm Hermine.
Sorry. Okay, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Rangika. I'm from Sri Lanka. I am the toon parent of Larva Toon and the examination officer in here. I am delighted to be here today to talk about the rules and expectation within our Toons. In the Toons, we always expect our students to follow the school standards, norms, and practices, which were clearly explained to all our students. The rules and expectations should be educated, decent, and appropriate at all times, and shall practice good manners and claim behavior at all the times as well as all the places. These rules and expectations ensure the physical, psychological, social well-being and safety of our students. I would now like to move on to the certain rules and expectations that applies to our students. Mainly, our residence has 24/7 security and safe with additional receptions and monitoring access during the daytime. The student cannot stay at the residence during the academic hours unless they have prior permission. All the students are expected to be in the residence in their room between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. from Sunday to Thursday, and 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Every evening, a Toon parent is on duty to check in every student before quiet time to ensure health and safety. Students are expected to be on time for check-in. After check-in, the quiet time is started till the next morning. After check-in, all students should stay in the residential buildings unless they need medical care from the medical center. Not even that, students do not go to each other's corridors or rooms after check-in into the respect the privacy of others. Now let's see how food and refreshment in the Toon. Student eats in the cafeteria and they are not allowed to bring foods to the rooms or common areas. Next, student cannot smoke or consume alcohol on campus or outside. Students are not allowed to move or remove furniture from their rooms and the common rooms. And not even that, students not allowed to allow the use of any fabric like curtains or partition to cover their premises to respect the safety of our community. Another significant point is students are allowed to decorate their personal space by sticking and hanging things only on the pin boards and do not hanging anything on the fittings or fixtures. Students respect the school property as well as the peers' property. Every Sunday, as Eric said, at 8:30 p.m., students clean their rooms and organize their chattels with the presence of Toon parents. Every other Sunday, students are expected to change their linen to keep our community healthy, and proper hygiene is important in all areas of our life. We are not allowed students to wear sleepwear or culturally inappropriate clothes in the common area to respect the multicultural community. The above are some of the general rules and expectations we are following in the Toon. And due to the COVID-19, we have some additional rules are implemented. All these measures are taken to ensure the health and safety of our students and to respect the diverse community. This brings me to the end of my presentation. Now I will pass you over to my colleagues Asnev. Thank you.
Thank you, Rangike. Hello, everyone. I'm Asnev. I'm Toon parent of Bartenis Toon. I'm from Armenia. My major is in physics, but I have worked in different areas before joining UWC. And when I joined here in 2017, I started my career as lab technician. Now I am ESS teacher and house parent. I would like to talk about rooms and how are they made in our residencies. We have two types of corridors. Some corridors have 4-person rooms and other corridors have 2-person rooms. Each of the room has similar the same furniture. Every student has their own a private corner with bed, with desk, study desk, a chair and lamp. So they have all facilities to study in their own room if they prefer to do so. Otherwise, they can study in common areas or library before check-in as well. Each student has their own wardrobe, their own shelves, so they can store their clothes and shoes, everything in their own corners. And we tried to make their corners as private as possible, considering all of the health and safety measures. We try to make rooms as diverse as possible in terms of nationalities, languages. We try not to have students who speak common language in the same room, so that they can speak, the common language should be English and all members of the room are on the same level. Besides that we try to have students from conflicting countries in the same room to give them opportunity to interact, to talk, and maybe to find common values, to see each other's perspectives as well. And in each room, we have balance between DP2 students and DP1 students. So either we have 2 DP2 and 2 DP1 students in 4-person rooms, or more number of DP1s than DP2s. This is, I think, pretty much it. All students in their rooms try to make their own room rules besides the corridor or Toon rules, because people live together and they want to feel safer and comfortable in their rooms. So, and they usually talk about the issues and inconveniences which they face in their own rooms. And as Toon parents, we can interact or help them to communicate even better. I think this is pretty much it, and I can pass to Madhu if there are any questions we want to address.
Okay, Stefan, before I address the questions, Stefan, would you like to talk a little bit about
Yes.
the next?
Yes, I would like to say a little bit more about what are the most common situations where Toon parent needs to intervene, or what are the most common jobs of the Toon parent. And I would like to start that with saying we really do have the vast majority of our students being mature and responsible young people who are good at managing a lot of things alone. Like Asnif just mentioned, most rooms, they make their own rules and they are able to talk to each other. So when there are conflicts, when there are situations that are where someone, for whatever reason, is getting a little bit frustrated with the people they share a room with, they tend to be able to talk about it themselves. So a lot of the time, we are actually very privileged in having very, very mature young people here. But of course, there are also times where we need to interact with them, where we need to become part of the solution to conflicts or other things. I think the most, if I should mention one challenge that is all of our students are facing more or less, it's managing their time. This place puts a lot of demands, especially the academics. The IB is an academic program that is demanding. And so anyone who wants to do really well has to work hard for that. In addition, of course, with the many different cultures and languages represented, some people find that easier than others, but everyone will need to work hard if they want to do well. And as Toon parents, our role will often be to help them set realistic expectations for themselves and to help them manage their time well. When you have homework due, but your friends would like to socialize with you, or you would also like to do your sports or your workout or your social activities, it can be difficult to find time for everything. Sometimes the solution for some students becomes to then work half the night on their homework. And obviously that's not a very healthy approach. So sometimes our role as student parents is to try to help them manage their time, to sit down, have a conversation. What went wrong this time? How can we do that better another time? Sometimes we need to help them plan out maybe a whole week of their time. When do I get time to do what I want to do? How do I make sure that I get enough sleep, or at least more than right now? So time management and the general very many opportunities for different things here is a common challenge faced by all students, to some extent also by us as staff. We also have a lot of things that we like to participate in and have to manage our own time. And we try, of course, to model a healthy lifestyle ourselves as well in the middle of all of this. Sometimes we need to be a helping calendar reminder to some students. Certain students tend to have a hard time getting up in the morning on time, so we have a Toon parent coming by in the morning to make sure that they make it to classes. Sometimes they tend to forget if they have a medical appointment or if they have something else, and they will need a reminder to make sure that they manage their things. But most of the time, really, we are there to support. And often it's enough for the students to know they can come to someone. Very often it turns out when they come and ask a question, they actually answer it themselves, because just the act of asking for help is what they need. They need to have someone to talk to, but they actually already know the right answer when they ask the question. Just having to vocalize it and having to phrase the question is enough to sort of know what is the right answer. Sometimes as a Toon parent, it's simple questions. I misplaced my towel, can you help me get a new one? Or my glasses broke, can you help me fix them until I can buy some new ones? So it can be small practical things where we help them out. And then, of course, like has already been mentioned, we take turns to have our evening duties. So every night there's a Toon parent who sees and speaks with every single student. And in addition, of course, there's a phone they can always call 24/7 if they need help here and now. There's actually 2 phones. We'll have two Toon parents on duty all time. So I think that was the most common things we deal with. And then, as I said in the very beginning, we try to do whatever a parent would do, which is, of course, react to whatever the situation is and help our students the best way we can in that specific situation. So I think I will pass back to Maru, who might have some questions for us.
Okay, before I go to the questions, I think I was trying to answer some of the questions on the chat. I'll talk about communications. I think you see the team. This is the team who's taking care of your children and taking your role, and therefore you can understand how demanding parenting is, and they're trying to do their best to give the best possible solutions to each student because of the diverse student body. And of course, as parents, I can understand from 5,000 miles away, you are always wary about them. So I'll talk a little bit about communication. Toon parents are your first point of contact. However, Toon parents have a very demanding job, so they're not always on duty. 2 Toon parents, as my colleagues have said, are always on duty, and they respond to any situations. But you can, if there are urgent matters, you can write to me or call me. I mean, my phone number is available with every parent, because I wouldn't mind taking calls or answering questions. However, I would like the team to have some rest because they do a very demanding job, and therefore, if you have any urgent questions, anything that requires an urgent action, please write to me or call me or message me, and that's fine. But when the Toon parents are on duty, they will respond to you. And if you email them, they will respond to you as soon as they are near their computers or phones, because sometimes they are off duty, as I explained. Now, I would also like you to review the safeguarding policy on our website if you haven't already done so. And it is available on the parent portal as well. And we want all of us to know and you to know what provisions UWCD has in place to ensure safety of every member of the community. Our contact information is on the website and in the parent portal. And reach to us through any of the means that I have just mentioned, and we will respond as soon as possible. Now, let's see if we have any questions through Q&A chat or via Facebook. Well, I have a question here about if I can share my phone number with you. Yes, my phone number is under my email address, and that is purposely email signature so that you all can have access, and I can share it now with you if that is more convenient. Yes, I have shared it on the chat. Any questions, any other questions that you would like to ask the Toon parents? And you know who your child's Toon parent is, so therefore you can directly ask a question and I'll pass it on to the Toon parent. And Sophie is also here. If you have any questions to Sophie, please feel free to ask as well. Also, I would say one thing about the gym time. The gym time starts at 6:30 a.m. Before that, we do not allow students to get out of the residences, and I'll explain to you why. 6 months of the year, even probably more, it's winter here, it's quite snowy, quite slippery, and it's dark. And we do not want students to go out without us knowing, because we all are in bed probably at that time. And if something happens, if there is an accident or something, we would not know. That's why we prefer that the students go at least when the daylight is out, and they're more visible, and also they can see where they're going, because it's quite dark at the early hours of the morning. So this is why we do not allow students to go out of residences at night and till the daylight is, there. I don't see any other questions. Anything that you would like to ask? Anything that is not clear so far on what we have said? Yes, Marilyn, they are doing that. These are teenagers we are talking about whose amygdala is much more active than their prefrontal cortex. So therefore, yes, they like to socialize a lot. They should be in the rooms after 10 p.m., but they are allowed to be in common rooms, because sometimes they do not find time to socialize because they remain so busy with the academic classes and other things. And therefore, we try to, that's why Toon parents are on duty at night and tries to send them to their rooms, but at times they feel that Toon parents are too imposing, interfering with their privacy, and these are teenagers. So naturally that becomes a little bit of an issue, but we try to talk to them as much as possible and make them understand, because it's all about educating them and making them understand how they should manage their lives, because soon they'll be in the university and nobody will tell them what to do. So we are trying to prepare them for the university, and we try to educate them as how to manage their daily life. The common rooms are open all night, because we cannot lock common rooms. Common rooms are open all night, yes. Matthew's Toon parent is Armine. Would you like to ask Junie any question?
Hello, Johnny. It's me. I am a house parent of Matthew. And actually, I sent an email to you September 10 to introduce myself, and I got a reply. So it's me.
Kati, you asked for elaborating the question. I didn't answer any question from the Facebook. So do you let me know what you want me to elaborate on? Marilyn, thank you very much for trusting us. We are trying our best, and you can see the team. It's a team very diverse, very different, and therefore they balance the needs for all the different students' requirement and needs. And therefore, we are very proud of this team. Okay, Kati, I will explain. Marielyn was asking, the question wasn't there, but she asked us before about the gym time, when students can go to the gym in the morning. So the time is 6:30 a.m. We do not allow them to go before that, just for safety reasons. Okay, now there is a question about the kitchen, whether the students cook in the kitchen for their Toons. Yes, they do. They cook in the kitchens or in the common rooms, but they also like to cook in all our apartments. I mean, they cook in Sophie's apartment, my apartment, all the house parents' apartment. They like to cook there, spend their evenings in our kitchen. And then they tidy it up, they clean it up. Otherwise, they know that we will be after them, and they enjoy a good time. And also they cook in their kitchen, which becomes a bit more messy because there's nobody to supervise, but the Toon parents then, of course, make sure that they tidy up after themselves. And we have cleaners also who come in the morning and tidy up after them if they don't do, which sometimes I do not appreciate that much, because I think I feel they are being pampered a little bit, because when they go to the university, they will have to learn how to do it by themselves. No cleaners will be available, but we treat them.
I think, Madhu, we can add that cooking is not only for the sake of having food for our students, it's also sharing their culture, and they like cooking, sharing their national cuisine and culture. And during that time, you get to know students even better, because they talk a lot about everything in general, not only about whatever is regarding the Toon and so on. It's really much about culture and communication as well.
Absolutely, and I think they absolutely love doing that. And of course, we also get to taste the food of different culture, because students also like us to join when they do these parties in our apartments, etc. And I understand why there is a question about why the common kitchens are clean and tidy. They don't look as if they have been used. As I said, that there are cleaners coming in the morning, so you wouldn't see the mess because the cleaners tidy after them in the morning. Okay, Gabriela, I would answer that question, but I would not be able to give a definitive answer, because during COVID time, we cannot definitely say anything. This is about whether the students will quarantine after the winter break. Most probably, yes, but we do not know yet. But what you would notice that we have just 2 days of arrival. It doesn't matter whether the student is vaccinated or unvaccinated. They're coming together. If they have to quarantine, they will quarantine together, but we will have lessons online. If the situation is such that they do not have to quarantine, then of course it will be a different situation. And Sophie can say a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think that's my cue. We are at the moment planning to have a quarantine, again, in a theoretical way. So everything we do is built on the assumption that we might have to have that quarantine. So the arrival is fixed, and then we will decide closer to the time what needs doing.
And also we will have a town hall meeting for winter break on 3rd of November, when it will be clearer and you will get more information about the winter break and return after the winter break. Also, there is a question, Harmine, would you like to answer this question? Where do they buy the cooking items? Is there a store on campus?
There is no store in campus, but students and they organize delivery. So there is a once a week delivery from Carrefour supermarket from Yerevan, and they can make an order from Carrefour and get the order and pay here. Also, we have several supermarkets in Dilijan which do delivery. So they have all the contacts. They call a supermarket or they do shopping online and they delivery everything what they want to campus, to school, and students can pay cash or by credit card here. Also, they have the taxi driver who is always available for them. The taxi driver doing shopping for them and bringing to school. But security, we have security at the gate, and security checks all the delivery which they get to make sure that there is nothing which breach school rules, and they get proper items, everything. So it's under the control, all deliveries and all the items which they order. And there is lots of possibility for them to make orders and get whatever they want to. But before, when they were in quarantine, they didn't allow to make the orders. So we as a house parent collect the orders which they want, and we made the delivery for them. But now they have all the possibilities, and we have supermarkets, as I said, that they can use. And very good delivery system.
Stefan, would you like to also give a little bit of idea about our engagement activities where staff are taking students to the supermarkets?
Yes, so we've started a new initiative this year where we ask teachers and mentors. Those who are parents of second-year students might remember that we used to have our mentors as part of the evening check-in, but we have asked this year instead that they offer some time during the week to support students for different activities outside the classroom, both so that they can also interact and socialize with the students, so they can meet them in a less formal setting than inside the classroom, and so we can be able to offer our students more activities. It can be difficult, and has been in some ways, this whole living in lockdown the whole time. For example, the whole being able to go to a supermarket yourself can actually be an adventure all on its own when you are otherwise not able to go. So some mentors are then offering to take a small group of maybe 8 students, walk to the nearest supermarket and let them do their own shopping, of course, with lots of social distancing, wearing masks and taking good care. That's why we have someone supervise them when they're doing it. The other activities would be visiting cafes or restaurants, which is also very, very popular. And as long as it's possible for us to organize it in a way that we can stay together as a group from campus and stay socially distanced from other people while we're doing it, we are trying our very best to offer all kinds of activities, walking trips off campus, going just for a walk or going for specific destinations to the nearest park or to other places are also very popular. And in addition, there are a lot of activities taking place on campus where people are cooking together or baking together, playing games, watching movies, having debate sessions or book clubs or doing creative arts. There's a lot of activities. It's still a new program that we've just started this month. So of course, as with anything new, we need to adjust and get used to it. But I have had a lot of positive feedback from both students and the staff members who are actually running these activities, that we have a lot of meaningful engagement and meaningful interactions between students who otherwise wouldn't know each other and staff who might also not know these particular students.
Madhu, can I throw something in here?
Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted to say I've been working in boarding schools since I started teaching, and the challenges that a situation like the pandemic poses to boarding are really unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it before. And the team that is working here is doing an absolutely amazing job. The amount of time and energy that goes into being there for the students and supporting them around the clock is really unusual. And the team is, to my mind, cheerfully getting on with it. Nobody is having this kind of feeling, I want to get out of this, which some of the students do. So I would like to put a very big compliment in here from my side, and then hand back to you, Madhu.
Thank you, Sophie. And if there are no more questions, there is one question about how, as parents, you can help. We are already very, very pleased, and it is our delight that you want to help us and actually be a part of our team. We are a team. We are representing you here as a residential team. So yes, your cooperation and support, without that, we will not be able to do what we are doing. So, I mean, we will reach out to you whenever we need your help, but I think open communication with Toon parents will help them understand, because students, they say something, they do something else. And I think open relationship with the Toon parents will help them to understand that they are doing the right thing, as you would know that they do not know whether you want this, because sometimes students don't want to go to school. I'll give you a simple example, and they ask for a permitted day. But my team is always questioning themselves, if you were there, would you give them a permitted day to not go to school? And of course, making that decision is very difficult for them, because they have this extra responsibility working on your behalf to decide whether the student should go to school or not. Well, if there are valid reasons, of course, they can easily decide and they give that permitted day. But many a times they talk about stories back home, something has happened, and it is very difficult for the Toon parent sometimes to understand if something has happened back home. Is it really important if the student needs a day off and needs our support and care, and instead of going to the classroom? We would really appreciate if something happens back home, if you just communicate to the Toon parents, they would know in advance and they would know how to support. And if the student come at night saying that I need a permitted day because something bad has happened back home, they are already aware of it. So we will really appreciate if you can inform us all the time, and we are on the same page, so that we know we are doing the right thing for your children. So I don't think there are any more questions. So I would like to thank all of you who have joined us today. I personally am very passionate about students' well-being and care. So we could be covering this subject forever, given we all have a stake in the safety of our children. They are yours, and you have entrusted us with their responsibilities, so they are ours too. Thank you for your trust. We hope that we managed to tell you a bit about our work behind the scenes, and then it will make our communication better. Thank you for joining us, and please remember that we are always available to answer any questions or concerns you have, and please feel free to contact us whenever you need to. We understand from a distance, it is always very difficult. And I had my children in boarding school, so I know how it feels to send children so many miles, thousands of miles away. And thank you very much again, and hope to see you soon on campus. I hope things get better and we meet face to face. Bye-bye, everyone. And thank you, the panelists.
Thank you.